Why do you think he does those things though? Do you think
For money.
I
don't think he's got the money he says. That's what I think.
You think he still needs the money
I don't
after
think
all
he
these
needs
years?
the money.
Let this, and myself, we helped build this guy up. He was fighting on my undercard. He was the co-main. We helped build this guy up. And you know what Oscar De La Hoya do? You know what Mr. Loyal Oscar De La Hoya do? I'm sorry, Miss Disloyal Oscar De La Hoya do? He take him right over to HBO and cut a deal with HBO. And when he cut the deal, he got money, but I bet Canelo didn't see none. But these are the things that people don't know about in a sport of boxing.
So the money's really gone.
Yeah, that's what you think. It's get the money, spend the money.
All that money.
And it's been 2 years.
So is it just his overhead is so high on a day-to-day, month-to-month? Like
I don't even want to talk about it. Like with the lifestyle, that money's gone. Trust me. Now it's
The boxing world is not holding back from criticizing Mayweather for his actions. From scammy exhibition fights to whispers of debts, Floyd's once untouchable legacy seems to be crashing fast. And it all stems from one uncomfortable truth that's gaining traction. He might be going broke.
We got Floyd Mayweather back in the real estate news again. This guy's on an acquisition spree like I haven't seen in a long time. You got to remember, in October, he bought a portfolio of multifamily properties in and around Manhattan for $402 million. Well, this time he went all in on office property for a $10 billion portfolio. I got this out of Real Deal, by the way. Now, some of these properties listed are 410 10th Avenue and Hudson Yards. You got Jersey City's Harborside Office Complex. You've got the Aon Center in Chicago and the old post office.
Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd's longtime rival in and out of the ring, has not held back. He's never really minced words when it comes to Floyd, and now he's doubling down. According to De La Hoya, Mayweather is a man doing everything possible just to stay relevant. The way Oscar sees it, when Floyd was active in boxing, the cash flow was massive and constant. That's why the money rained from his hands like confetti. $1 million watches, exotic cars he drove maybe once, private jets with his name stitched into the headrests, and strip club appearances that ended with cash showers. But all that flexing, Oscar claims, was never sustainable. Not unless you kept the tens of millions per fight checks rolling in.
I love bringing the people into my lifestyle, showing the people how I live. Now, I know you guys see me on a regular talking about real estate. Well, lately, I purchased 62 apartment buildings in New York City. And what I need you guys to do, slide over and check out the photos. It's not all 62 buildings, it's a few buildings, but guess what? All the buildings belong to me. I don't have no partners. And all the retail down low on my buildings all belong to me.
He believes Mayweather's image was a balloon held up by high-stakes paydays. The investments Floyd talks about, vague mentions of skyscrapers in the Middle East, gold mines, fashion lines, nightclub ventures, none of those bring in the kind of cash necessary to maintain the circus he built. It's just recently that Oscar even went online and told him to quit while there's something left to protect. Floyd, you're 50 years old. You're a legend in the sport. You have to stop embarrassing yourself with these exhibitions. I know life is hard and life is expensive, but come on, put your legacy first.
But you have to stop embarrassing yourself with these exhibitions. I know life is hard, I know life is expensive, but come on, dude, put your legacy first. Nobody wants to remember you like this. And it gets worse, your jeweler filed a lawsuit against you in Miami. And many are saying you're gonna have to sell off your assets. I hate seeing this happen, bro.
And this isn't the first time De La Hoya has gone in. Back in 2018, when Canelo Alvarez signed that historic $365 million contract with DAZN, Oscar was on cloud nine. Golden Boy Promotions had just sealed the most lucrative deal in boxing history. And what does Floyd do? He tries to belittle it. Mayweather said he could make that much from one fight. One fight. The nerve of it. Oscar didn't let that slide. He went straight to TMZ and ripped into Floyd, calling him a lowlife. How unfair is it that Canelo announces this big monumental deal, and here you have Floyd crawling out of his little rock, trying to sabotage or trying to steal his thunder? That's who he is. He's a lowlife. That is exactly what Floyd is.
In the sport of boxing, when we talk about loyalty, when you look at Canelo, there's Steven Espinoza and the Showtime team and myself, we helped build this guy up. He was fighting on my undercard. He was the co-main. We helped build this guy up. And you know what Oscar De La Hoya do? You know what Mr. Loyal Oscar De La Hoya do? I'm sorry, Miss Disloyal Oscar De La Hoya do?
Those weren't just the words of a promoter defending his fighter. They were personal. And now, with everything unraveling, the real estate scandal, the lawsuit threats, the tax problems, Oscar believes Floyd has backed himself into a corner. No amount of smooth talking or diamond watches will make this one disappear. According to him, Mayweather doesn't even know how to address his fans anymore, because it would mean admitting he's in trouble, financially, emotionally, publicly.
His new real estate deal is going to make him $300 million a month. You see that?
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Now, the fact that he pointed out was that everybody knows that he got his own capital, which is, money, right? But he still leveraged other people's money. Absolutely. So now he's making $300 million a month. Right. Well, he's going to, that's going to be his plan. So, just like I said, back to your example, right? The Airbnb. You get a place. I mean, there's a couple ways to do the Airbnbs. Yeah. You can do it to where you're what's it called?
Eddie Hearn has also chimed in, and while he's not as animated as De La Hoya, his doubts carry more weight. Hearn is skeptical about Floyd's finances. He points to the insane spending habits, fleets of Bugattis, nights of six-figure gambling, multiple homes with astronomical upkeep costs, and raises a simple point. How can any investment keep up with that? In an interview with GRM Daily, Hearn said, "I don't think he's got the money he says. I don't think he needs the money. But when you've got that lifestyle, when he's spending what he's spending, you start to wonder."
It's like the art of boxing. I think sometimes when these guys carry on and they do the exhibitions and all that kind of stuff, it just sort of diminishes the legacy a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
And that's what I feel like's happened with Mayweather.
Why do you think he does those things, though? Do you think
for money?
I
don't think he's got the money he says. That's what I think.
I think he still needs the money.
I don't
after
think
all
he
these
needs
years.
the money. But when you got that lifestyle, right? So when you're spending what he's spending,
it's a lot of expense.
Mayweather continues to insist his finances are fine, that the exhibition fights are just fun, that it's not about the money. "I was born to be a fighter. I'm gonna die a fighter," he said in response to critics. But that's not what others around him are saying.
So one day, somebody, because I don't have social media on my phone. Yeah. So they showed me Eddie. Eddie was like, "Floyd Mayweather ain't got no money. That's why he doing exhibitions." No, Eddie don't believe that now. Yeah.
But Eddie will say some shit like that now.
Eddie will say some shit, but no. But one thing, don't worry about that. But me and Eddie got it clear. Didn't we, Eddie? Yeah. One thing, me and my buddy got it clear.
We said as long as it's 10 or 20, no problem. Anything less.
Earlier this year, Gervonta Davis, Floyd's former protege, claimed that Mayweather had been detained in Dubai over unpaid debts. It was a shocking claim, and while Floyd's camp denied it, the story refused to die. And Gervonta isn't the only one hinting at Mayweather's money problems. The Paul brothers have been the loudest and most consistent voices accusing him of being a fraud.
People over in Dubai that money. Tell them to get on live right now. And he owed people in Saudi Arabia money too.
Logan Paul, who faced Mayweather in a massive exhibition bout in 2021, has been vocal about still not getting paid in full. He claims he's owed around $5 million from the fight. Mayweather bragged about earning over $30 million from that event. But according to Logan, he didn't follow through on the payments. "My brother bought a jet. This is what happened when you fought Mike Tyson. I fought Floyd Mayweather, and he just robbed me. He still owes me," Logan said in a recent video. "Pay me that money, and then I can get a jet."
Nice. It's sick. Oh, it's so sick. So this is what happens when you fight Mike Tyson, huh? I fought Floyd, he just robbed me. He still owes me money. Floyd, bro, pay me my money so I could get a jet. Dude, that's crazy.
That jab was intentional. Jake Paul just bought his own jet after making $20 million from his fight against Mike Tyson. Logan wanted one too, but claims he can't afford it because Floyd stiffed him. That's more than a petty complaint. That's a public shot at Floyd's brand. If the man who built his legacy on easy money is still ducking payments, what does that say about the brand? The Pauls believe Floyd is too afraid to admit that the illusion of wealth is crumbling. He's scared to lose the money image, Jake said on his podcast. Floyd was the greatest boxer of his time, sure, but times don't last. Legacy doesn't pay bills. It's a brutal observation, but it's the kind that's starting to resonate in the fight world. People are beginning to look past the undefeated record and see a man clinging to an empire that's fading fast.
Logan Paul, he said you owe him some bread.
That comes with the territory.
Right.
To them, that's real money. The money is not coming fast enough. That's why when they say money on the back end, as far as pay-per-view, it take a while. But be happy with the biggest payday you ever got in your life.
And the sad part is, Floyd's fall from grace is not just about money, it's about relevance, about image, about ego. He could have walked away as the most successful boxer in history. But instead, we're watching him hop from country to country for exhibition matches against YouTubers, MMA guys, and influencers. And the worst part? Most of them don't respect him. They just want a piece of the clout. But according to fans, Floyd needs them too. He needs the ticket sales, the attention, the illusion.
Chilling in the EWB Rolls Royce. For those that don't know what an EWB is, that's an extended wheelbase Rolls Royce. I need the leg room. I know I ain't that tall, about 5'8.5", some days 5'9", but it is what it is. Chilling, sitting right here watching the Thriller in Manila, Ali versus Frazier documentary. Come check it out.
There are also whispers within boxing circles that Floyd is deeply in debt to various shadow investors, people who bankrolled some of his ventures in exchange for profit shares that never materialized. Sources claim that Mayweather overpromised, underdelivered, and is now trying to clean up the mess quietly. The real estate scandal might just be the first to surface publicly, but insiders suggest it's just the tip of the iceberg. A former Mayweather promotion staffer anonymously told a UK tabloid that the company is bleeding and that most of the real action now happens offshore through shell companies tied to exhibition events. He's liquidating faster than he's earning, the source claimed. He doesn't have the income streams to back up the Mayweather name anymore. It's a front.
What I'm doing right now, that's what I do every day. Shop. That ain't nothing like couple bucks. Greg, come with me. I didn't get these. Yeah. I did?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, before we make the best of it.
Still, Floyd continues to post. He continues to talk about generational wealth while showing off $500,000 cash piles on private jets. But for many watching, it feels like performance art, and the mask keeps slipping as more voices like De La Hoya, Hearn, Gervonta, and the Pauls speak out. 50 Cent's latest jab wasn't random. It was strategic, calculated, and pointed directly at the very core of the Mayweather myth. The video he posted wasn't just about clowning. It was about peeling back a layer that many have whispered about for years. When he wrote, "Damn champ, they caught you cappin'," it wasn't just about trolling. It was about yanking the curtain open and letting the light hit the illusion Floyd's been carefully curating. Fifth's always played the long game with his jabs.
Apartment buildings in Upper Manhattan. Business Insider reported that no such deal appears to have occurred. Floyd recently posted a video on Instagram claiming he bought 6 apartment buildings, stating that they are all his properties with no partners involved. However, Business Insider has contradicted these claims, stating that the ownership of the buildings remains unchanged and they are not Mayweather's, as he stated. Many are left questioning why Mayweather would make such a bold, untrue claim about his financial dealings.
His comedic timing is only part of the appeal. He knows how to bury the real shot in a laugh, and this one landed flush. That laugh turned into a roar across timelines, because the myth of Mayweather, the billionaire baller, the one who could buy out cities with pocket change, is starting to crack. And the crack is loud enough that even people in Floyd's own circle, people like Jeff Mayweather, aren't defending it. They're letting silence speak, or in Jeff's case, just enough truth to show there's something off. That's the problem with illusions. They demand upkeep. And the more elaborate the lie, the more effort it takes to maintain.
So I've got to ask about this. I don't know if anyone's asked you about your opinion on this, but what do you make of Floyd Mayweather not paying Logan Paul for their fight?
I have no idea of what's going on with that. So I mean, I'm not really going to speak on it. I mean, if I mean, he should get paid because the fight's been over and it's been a while. So, I mean, Logan do deserve to get paid. He was there.
Eddie Hearn also isn't speaking less. Hearn didn't talk in riddles. He said it plainly. There's no trail. There's no deal. This isn't about jealousy or beef. It's about calling time on a narrative that's worn thin. Because in boxing, credibility is everything. And when you start lying about deals on the level of Manhattan skyscrapers, you don't just risk embarrassment. You start eroding the legacy you built with your own hands. Floyd's legacy used to be bulletproof, undefeated, unmatched. But now, every time he pops up on a flyer for another exhibition match in some foreign country, it feels more like a hustle than history. The opponents are no longer elite threats. They're influencers, TikTokers, and combat sports names way past their prime. The spectacle remains, but the respect? That's on a slow leak.
Is Floyd now ruining his legacy because he continues to have these sideshow fights and, you know, dudes that wouldn't normally touch him are starting to touch him because Father Time waits for no man. So even the great Floyd, even TBE, is being hit by mediocre people, you know?
And while Floyd's racking up these exhibition checks, smaller than what he's used to, but still hefty by most standards, the weight of unpaid debts is starting to catch up. The Logan Paul situation is the clearest sign. This wasn't some backroom street fight. This was a mega showcase with millions made. Yet somehow the guy he fought is still waiting on his full cut. And when Logan spoke out, there wasn't just frustration, there was disbelief. Because if Money Mayweather can't even pay his dance partner, what does that say?
A lot of fighters now, when they come over to Mayweather Promotions, everyone, we want a new car, we want a house, we want an apartment. They want everything, but they don't really want to put in the work. And I got to where I got to by putting in the work. But you have to sacrifice something to get something. And that's what these fighters don't want to do. They don't want to sacrifice nothing. When fighters get with Al, we want what Floyd got. We want a private jet.
That's the kind of thing that eats away at a legend from the inside. Fighters who fought less and made less are paying up. But Floyd, the self-proclaimed money king, is now at the center of accusations that smell more like broke behavior than billionaire swagger. And those close to him, like Jeff Mayweather, aren't blind to it. They're not angry. They're disappointed. Jeff's not chasing headlines, but he knows the game. He knows when a fighter's starting to blur the lines between show and self-destruction. And from everything being said behind closed doors, Jeff sees it clearly now. Floyd's chasing ghosts, not greatness.
Imagine working for someone whose whole persona is money, 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 and you don't get paid. Well, that's exactly what it is for employees of Floyd Mayweather. Employees of his Los Angeles gym accused Floyd Mayweather of bankruptcy after failing to pay them. I mean, he's still buying stuff. Portfolio valued at $10 billion, including 18 office buildings spanning. I mean, he can do all this, but he can't pay his employees' salaries. $10 billion portfolio, 18 office buildings spanning 10 million square feet.
The worst part? This doesn't need to be the story. Floyd could disappear tomorrow, sit back in silence, and let the world argue over his greatness. But instead, he's out here grasping for clout with real estate lies and friendly firefights that mean nothing. That's not reinvention, that's regression. And when someone like Teofimo Lopez speaks on it, that's not just a rival throwing shade. That's the next generation sounding an alarm. Teofimo's critique hits harder because it comes from someone who's walked the walk. He dethroned Lomachenko when few believed he could. He took real risks, and he's lived with the consequences, wins and losses alike. So when he sees Floyd bending the truth for one more moment in the spotlight, it cuts deep. Because it reinforces the worst trend in modern boxing, protecting the brand over taking the test.
Floyd Mayweather fights Logan Paul, and Floyd Mayweather is one of the best fighters of all time.
Yeah.
In the sport.
Yep.
And now he's kind of like, he literally fought Logan Paul, a guy who's probably had, what, 2 fights?
Yep.
And he's now a professional boxer.
It was pretty cool, though. I will say, like,
what Teofimo sees and what many young fighters are absorbing is the belief that clout beats courage, that you don't have to risk it all to be seen as the best. Just keep the image shiny, stack the right fights, and keep your name buzzing. And now, with Mayweather's real estate bluff exposed, the blueprint looks more like a trap. Because when you lie about owning skyscrapers, when you keep running from paydays you promised others, and when your next big bout is against someone with more Instagram followers than KOs, you're not a legend in motion. You're a shadow of what was. The most damaging thing isn't that Floyd may or may not have money. It's that he's losing control of the narrative. The Mayweather name used to be synonymous with power. Now, it's becoming a punchline. And the people making those jokes aren't haters on Twitter. They're veterans, promoters, fighters, insiders. People who once held that name with awe are now asking what happened.
When you're rich for a short period of time. Riches is short term. Wealth is long term. If you can have 100 million, but if you don't got no game plan, it's gonna be gone. If I didn't know what I know now, they gave me $100 million when I was young.
This isn't about one lie. It's about the accumulation of actions that tell a new story. A story where the guy who once turned boxing into a cash machine is now fighting to keep the illusion alive. The moves are no longer calculated, they're reactive. The empire isn't expanding. It's crumbling under the weight of trying to keep the mask intact. And 50 Cent, for all his trolling, isn't wrong. He's not just laughing at Floyd, he's pulling receipts. He's forcing people to look harder at what Floyd says versus what Floyd shows. He even claimed ownership of the TMT brand, the very symbol Floyd still wears like armor. If that's true, then the image Floyd keeps fronting isn't even legally his. It's borrowed time, borrowed glory, and maybe even borrowed money.
He asked me to help him, so I could stop them from using TMT as their logo right now. Because
you wouldn't do that because y'all cool again.
Yeah, I'm just not chasing it. But to be honest with you, I incorporated TMT in Delaware while he was incarcerated. Because he didn't sign the paper doesn't mean the corporation isn't valid. So I could actually, technically it trademarks the term of it because his entire corporation is built on it. So I could tell you, you can't have TMT socks. You can't have that TMT shirt you got on.
What's unfolding isn't just a fall from grace. It's a slow motion implosion. And it's being documented in real time. On Instagram, in interviews, across fight cards. The warning signs are flashing. People inside Floyd's orbit are stepping back. The respect remains, but it's tinged with concern. Not because Floyd's done something unforgivable, but because he refuses to stop. Every legend has a moment where they either evolve or implode. Right now, Floyd's teetering. He could have exited the sport with the kind of spotless finish that most only dream about. But instead, he's choosing chaos, choosing illusion, choosing a brand over a legacy. And the ones who used to cheer are now shaking their heads. The ones who used to defend him are choosing silence. The ones who still believe in the spirit of boxing are begging for a course correction. Because if this continues, if the lies get louder and the truth gets more buried, there might not be anything left of the Mayweather myth but memes and missed payments.
I believe in building generational wealth. Even like when my children, all four of my children are adults. And I told them, no more handouts. Because I feel like I'm hurting my children.
No one's denying what Floyd did in the ring, but outside of it, the picture is changing. And the longer this game continues, the real estate lies, the exhibition farce, the unpaid dues, the harder it becomes to remember the greatness that once was. Because even the best stories can get buried beneath the noise. And right now, Floyd's making a lot of it. But it's not the kind that earns respect. It's the kind that begs for attention. And that's not the legacy he should have left. What's your thoughts on this? Share them below and subscribe for more.